Who has the highest IQ in Omni-Man land? Nothing has been the source of greater insecurity since the dawn of humans than intelligence.
You're an idiot, Starscream.
Unlike you, Petros has a brain.
You know, it's just easier to call you stupid.
Those who have it are feared, admired, respected, and sometimes considered crazy. In Robert Kirkman's Invincible world, here are the 10 characters with the highest IQs. Machine Head, which sounds like the name of a heavy metal band, is a big-time cyborg crime boss in Chicago. Shot Town is a tough town, so to rise up above the many criminals the city has to offer and establish yourself as a real somebody takes real organizational skills. Putting big things together takes a certain IQ, as you have to plan where all the moving parts go to maximize efficiency. In an alternate universe, Machine Head might be running a Fortune 500 company. This part robot has a squad of Major League Muscle to make sure he stays on top in the Windy City. These Sinister Six cronies are a motley crew of intergalactic mercs able to keep Omni-Man and Invincible on their toes, including the mighty Battle Beast. Back to Machine Head. He'd be much higher on the list if he had a little more emotional intelligence. Maybe his childhood dream was to treat his employees like Isotope and Titan like garbage.
Not bad for a guy with gravel for fingers.
And he did indeed succeed in that, but his lack of bedside manner and arrogance ended up leading to his demise. More on that later. The Mauler twins are an interesting pair. The baby blue duo consist of a master and servant, as one is always a disposable clone. Imagine the ingenuity. Being able to invent and build a cloning machine to make another you, so you can double your workload and muscle.
Welcome to the world of the living, clone.
Like a game of 3-card Molly, we perpetually lose track of who the original twin is. Part of the fun. These gym bros seem like common thieves at first glance, and don't get us wrong, they are thieves. They steal to feed their building addiction. Whether it's making a robot army to punish and enslave, or seeker robots to find survivors in a rubble, their biggest muscles are in between their ears, and we definitely cheat off their sheets in a math test. Alan the Alien is a Unopan who has traveled the cosmos, evaluating planetary life as part of the Coalition of Planets. Although he made an extra-large clerical error when it came to evaluating the Earth.
This is Earth!
Don't let that planet-sized mistake blind you to the big brain behind that massive eye. Alan is an intergalactic security expert who becomes a consigliere to Mark Grayson. He knows the business of safety and makes himself very useful to the cause of preserving life.
Why can't I hear you in my head?
Where else do you keep your brain?
Alan is also telepathic, a huge advantage in understanding any and every kind of living being. Imagine not having to try and text what you think you mean and wasting time getting other people to read the texts you're going to send to others because you want to make sure you're understood. Alan doesn't have to do any of that. He knows your thoughts and you know his, making communication clear, precise, and efficient. Imagine how much you would know if you knew what everyone around you was thinking. That'll push your IQ into the 200s quick. Hey, wouldn't Alan and Tarangalila from Futurama make a cute couple?
Interesting.
Titan is a tricky powerhouse. The jewelry store robber and leg breaker who can encase himself in solid rock seems like a small-time crook looking to get out the game. Tired of being used and emotionally abused for his strength, and sometimes not even paid on time by his boss Machine Head, Titan makes us believe he's having a spiritual awakening and a change of heart, like Pulp Fiction's Jules.
But you happen to pull this while I'm in a transitional period, and I don't want to kill you. I want to help you.
Go!
He reaches out to Invincible, appealing to his hero complex, to get him to launch an attack on his boss Machine Head under the guise of saving lives. Really, Titan just needed the boy and his squad to make way for him at the top, using the new Guardians of the Globe to take out Machine Head and his OP security team.
But I gotta take care of mine.
The leg breaker became king in a coup that used government and alien muscle, putting him in finer threads and a sick penthouse apartment. Turns out Titan has a keen nose for power and a knack for aggressive political maneuvering. A form of intelligence. That move would have never worked on Omni-Man. Titan chose his pawns in his chess game very carefully. Dinosaurus, aka David Anders, is a brilliant scientist hell-bent on fixing the world's problems through population control. Like the late great Thanos, he wants to right the wrongs of humanity's overconsumption and sheer violent nature by reversing population growth. Maybe he just wants to usher in a new age of dinosaurs, living as one with the earth. The giant reptile man figured out Invincible's weaknesses, that his ability to fly comes from a complex inner ear balancing system, and he's able to throw it off using high-pitched frequency, incapacitating one of the world's most powerful boys and getting his full attention. He even gets Mark to be his accomplice for a while, getting him to silently agree with his decision to demolish Sin City. Why blow up Las Vegas of all places? We're sure Dinosaurus lost a lot of cash there, and this was his revenge. Hey, maybe he was the dinosaur in Johnny Depp's vision in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Okay, these ideas are getting out of control. I'm going for a walk to get some fresh ideas. Okay, I'm back. Like when Bruce Banner turns into the Hulk when he's extremely angry, David Anders turns into Dinosaurus when he's extremely indifferent. If Generation X, aka the whatever generation, had that ability, man, we'd have all become dinosaurs. It's that state of indifference, that lack of need to see things as just one way or the other, unhinges his intelligence and makes him part of society's elite minds. Thragg is a Viltrumite that is a living example that bad boys sometimes finish first. This intergalactic bully was able to rise so high on the food chain thanks to sheer cunning and extreme public displays of ultraviolence. In a social psychology poli-sci kind of way, he keeps the former Viltrumite Grand Regent Argyl's skull close by to remind him of what not to do, showing he is a man who learns from the past. He uses inside spies in the Coalition of Planets, showing he has a razor-sharp understanding of espionage and the value of military intelligence. This Viltrumite supremacist understands fear, how it works, who is afraid of what, and how to use it to lean on other living things to get whatever you desire. Unfortunately for the human race, Thragg wants us all to be slaves, baby incubators, or to just plain be deceased. You'd probably get an A on your political science group project with Thragg on your team, but he'd probably take all the credit and then frame you for cheating, getting you expelled. Then he'd rip you apart after school, just to be sure. Yeah, Thragg's smart, but evil. Omni-Man, aka Nolan Grayson, is thousands of years old. This complex anti-hero is Argyl's son, and so was born of royal heritage. Raised to be a conqueror under Thragg's regime, it indirectly makes him Thragg's protege. For millennia, Nolan has been honing and mastering the art of deception, getting aliens to trust him, and exploiting that trust for personal gain. He is on track for being a high official in the galaxy's master alien race thanks to this ability, being able to lie as easily as he breathes. His dark social intelligence comes from his ability to see others' inability to see the worst in him. Remember his mustachioed brethren, Daniel Plainview from There Will Be Blood? Sitting around the fire late at night with his fake brother Henry, the man says,
"I see the worst in people, Henry."
It's this ability that gives Daniel the edge in the ruthless oil business, in the same way it gives Omni-Man tremendous power and influence in the intergalactic Game of Thrones. Debbie and the boy have inspired a new kind of intelligence in Mr. Grayson, heart intelligence. His ice-cold alien heart is growing like the Grinch's, and something tells us we'll be seeing a brighter Omni-Man as the series carries on. Robot, aka Rudolph Rex Connors, is a member of the new Guardians of the Globe. He has a unique, quote-unquote, mind. He can analyze grotesque amounts of data in fragments of seconds and produce solutions faster than Siri, although not always the most humane ones.
I will contact Cecil and suggest a nuclear response.
The man-bun-sporting metal nerd doesn't have a humor setting. Unlike Interstellar's TARS,
what's your humor setting, Tars?
That's 100%.
And that's because his contribution to any combat scenario ain't no joke. He could easily be numero uno on our list, but doesn't quite understand the complexity and subtleties of human relationships and emotions. Like Princess Carolyn's P.A. Judah in BoJack Horseman, he doesn't quite understand romantic relationships and how they work.
I was joking.
I'm sorry. I sometimes have trouble reading tone.
Maybe one day, if he starts dating a vacuum cleaner or something, that will all become clearer. Just like it did for Judah when he married Princess Carolyn.
I love you, Princess Carolyn.
Damien Darkblood is the hard-nosed, devilish detective from hell. He's real streetwise with a nose for nonsense and intuitively busted the world's most powerful man for the highest-profile crime of the century. While the mustachioed dirty deeder Omni-Man denied his heinous crime of slaughtering his entire squad, trying to accuse his accuser, saying, "You're the demon after all," the man from the underworld stoically tells the guilty suspect,
"And demons know evil when they see it."
Damien knows people. He knows the hearts of men. and he knows how to get them. Damien would be the top dog on our list if he had foreseen that the man who hired him would send him back in chains to HE double hockey sticks before he could close the case, probably letting him spend some time with his brother from another mother, Hellboy. The egghead who one-upped the Devil's detective is the G-man known as Cecil Stedman. Cecil Stedman is the no-nonsense chess player with the responsibility of keeping his country safe from space maniacs. His scarred mug says it all. He's been there, done that, and learned many of life's lessons the hard way. He's smart because he has to be, playing political games with aliens that could end him with a pinky. With only the power of teleportation against a race of hot-headed mustachioed men and psychodames, Cecil is a calculating and patient warrior, capable of crafting careful plans to assassinate anyone who might enter into conflict with his flag. Cecil is a big-picture guy, able to see the whole field and the whole story from everyone's point of view all at once. This is his gift, and that's why we want his help for our term projects in school. A tough leave-out on this list for us was Invincible himself. Mark's learning curve has been hyper-aggressive thanks to all the places his Viltrumite heritage takes him. If his daddy and the world don't beat the good little boyishness out of him, he'll have a nice mix of head and heart intelligence when he's a few thousand years old.